Hello and welcome to a smerdp video, and today we are looking at Nightcrawlers issue 1. And something that I hadn't noticed with the Storm and the Brotherhood is up in the corner here they've got like a little note here, and this one says Destiny of X. So is Sins of Sinister, I guess, the finale of Destiny of X, and that's where that finishes. I don't know. Could be. I feel like at some point Marvel need to focus on delivering us omnibuses. One, for example, Dawn of X, that just has everything all in there. Reign of X, everything all in there, including the, well, we say events. Some of them aren't really events in my mind. So just get the camera in a good position. Try to anyway. So the story begins with Banshee, and Banshee has united with Ghost Rider, and they are after something for damn, I've forgotten her name. Mother something. She sent them there, and I've already forgotten her name. However, the legions of the night are there. Multiple Nightcrawlers that are Sinister's elite guard to take him out. And there is only thing that they can do is use the scream of ordering. However, it's not been successful on any Nightcrawlers, well, until now, when Nightcrawler Laura, whatever you want to call her, is starts having normal thoughts, etc., and, well, starts killing them. So Banshee Rider, whatever we're calling him, starts trying to free some of the others. Some of the others get free, etc., etc. Some don't, and they end up dying. So yeah, so that was a nice opening. Now I'm going to try and say this correctly. So it's either Psi or it's C. Spurrier. Now, I've not heard of C or Psi, and I hope that's how you pronounce his name. I've not heard of them before this book, so I'm not sure what other stuff they have written, but he is doing the writing. Paco Medina is on the art. J. David Ramos is on the colors. VC's Clayton Cowles is on the letters. Tom Miller and Jay Bowen are on design. So, Banshee stroke Ghost Rider is called a Vox. Geekiness. WAGNERINE. WAGNERINE. Oh my goodness. Warcrawler. Auntie Fortune. Mother Righteous, that's it. Mother's Righteous. How can I forget that? Dot Status and Orbis Stellaris. Now, so we've got a little piece here that I really do not like them, but it's there. I haven't read it, so I'm probably missing something very, very interesting, but I'm not. So Mother Righteous has she has a job to do, and they are in the House of the Fool, which was previously the Summers home, etc. Well, the Summers and Wolverine. And we meet the likes of Dr. Status from Orchis. Now, I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about when this all began in House of X, Powers of X, who was meant to be the big thing villain. So Orchis has always been in the background throughout this whole thing, mainly in X-Men and other things. So they've always been there. So that bit definitely works, which is great. The other bit that I felt was what happened to the Phalanx. I mean, there was a big emphasis on them. So maybe that's for, I don't know, later on. Maybe that's Jonathan Hickman's end game. I'm not entirely sure. But I can't remember if I mean, I'd have to reread it. X Lives of Wolverine, X Deaths of Wolverine. Wasn't there something there where Wolverine came back from the future? I would need to re-look at that just to remember the exact details, but maybe that was the inkling after Phalanx, or they sent him back to go do whatever it is that he does best. So I just felt like the Phalanx thing's gone way too quiet. I would like to see more of that. Sorry, I knocked my stand. But Orchis, I still hope that that's going to still continue, especially when this is done, especially with Dr. Status, which was revealed in Jerry Dugan's X-Men. That bit kind of went really quiet after he joined Orchis. Anyway, we have Orbis Stellaris, who I said in my review of Storm and the Brotherhood, I thought it was Gateway because of just the way he was sitting, etc. But he wants to take over the universe. He has a bigger, grand idea. And then we got Dr. Status from Orchis, obviously, which has survived this. And either of them want to be the real Mr. Sinister. They want to be the original. And they have their own agendas. So Mother Righteous talks about, and I got a little bit confused with this bit. I'm not gonna lie. She talks about going back 10 years, how she worked with X genes, got bewitched, Sinister was splicing, keeping monsters, etc. And it took, I believe, her years of sacrifices, spells, deals to get it done, or to do what she needed to do to be able to take it to the next level. And I didn't really understand it, but clearly it upset Mr. Sinister because he Orchis commissioned that hex, or the hex that perhaps prevented stuff, which now allows things to happen. And this is around the Nightcrawler strain, etc., that is he uses as his private army, etc. So I'm not entirely sure I've understood that correctly, so I apologize, but I needed to talk about it. I'm just not exactly sure what I'm actually talking about. So moving on, she reveals herself as an Essex. She has a heart instead of a diamond, so a different card sigma. And she's not interested in who's the original or not. I'm sure. So she releases her teams to take out Mr. Sinister off Orchis. And it is a fierce fight, etc., an interesting fight. However, he does not survive. And this is due to a deal with Orbis. And he likes the fact that she's taken all these killers and is using them, etc. And so she cured the monstrous hex. So is that the hex off? Yeah, I don't know. Or is it the hex off the original? I think it's the original. That's what we get into in a minute. So anyway, Orbis is up to sync, and he's up to something bigger around Dominant World Farm, and we soon learn that Orbis stole Sinister's lab. Now, I don't think we've seen Orbis before in any of the comics, the X-Men comics, so this part is very interesting about how he's doing it. You can also see that he's got a different sigma as well. He's got the clubs on his head, so, and I guess that's saying I'm an original Sinister, if that makes sense, rather than the Sinisters that he has manipulated with his DNA. I could be wrong, but Orbis has lots of things that he's trying to do. We've already seen him in Storm and the Brotherhood. He is manipulating things as well as such, which is interesting. So it'll be interesting to see how the next things pan out in terms of that part of the storyline. So meanwhile, the crawlers go off to boost their rank. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not, and sometimes they find things that they don't want to find, which brings us to Nightcrawler. So the hex, I believe, was removed off the original Nightcrawler, and that perhaps was the spells, etc. Maybe that weakens Sinister and create new crawlers or spicing things, whatever you want to call it. If he's got DNA, as far as I'm concerned, he could spice things. However, the hex, he hasn't been freed. Nightcrawler is still trapped in this monstrosity of a body, and I think the only way to get him back to normal is resurrection. Quite straightforward. So there we go. So they stole lots of things and they returned it, and Mother Righteous gives them a glimpse into the dark heart of the hidden laboratory of Sinister. So everybody that is in this game is either trying to prevent access to this laboratory so that Sinister cannot reboot it. Sinister for Orchis would have been one of those people that would have liked to reboot it and be able to state his claim from that angle, whereas other like Orbis actually likes this and he's going for universal domination, I guess. And the only way to do that is through allowing Moira to stay hidden and Sinister not to reset that timeline, who is clearly desperate. He clearly wants to go back because this isn't what he wanted. He's losing the power that he wanted. So they feel like they have a mission to perhaps go in reverse this. And this is similar to Storm's mission that's coming up, that they're going to try and go in there. So Wallcrawler, Peter Parker, Spider-Man decides that he is going to go and get inside, etc., and have a look to see what this is about. That's the way that I've understood it. It's going on this mission. However, it doesn't end well. He ends up dead, unfortunately. And they talk about his name, etc., and they call on Wallcrawler. And if my understanding is correct, this allows her to create a small spell. But they're going to go steal something. Lots of things. Instruments off the guards to gain access to this lab where perhaps they can reverse things. I feel that's how I've understood it. I may be wrong. And I've got to admit, I've probably had to think more with this story than some of the others. I mean, Storm and the Brotherhood was just really easy, twists and turns, etc. But this was a bit more magical. Maybe I don't like magic. Who knows? But it's okay. It adds to it. And just to be clear, this is part 3 of the story. So this is year 10. So the interesting thing is, when year 10 ends, we go to year 100. And we go to year 1000. So this is going to be interesting how this pans out. It'll be interesting how this goes from year 10 to year 100. This is not going to be as straightforward. I mean, how do mutants such as Storm survive 100 years? Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, the book's cool. It's interesting. Sins of Sinister is interesting. They've not given too much away. It's not straightforward on what the mission is. And there's only, what, a dozen issues, if I remember rightly? Or maybe it's just 12. So this is the first arc. And we've got one more Immoral X-Men to read. And then we are moving on, etc. So I like the comic. I did have to think about it a lot more than usual, which is fine. You know, and maybe I didn't take things in as well as I thought I did. Maybe I should have reread a couple of bits before I came online just to talk about it, etc. So that's my bad. Other than that, I do hope you enjoyed the video still. really appreciate it if you could support my channel by subscribing. Make sure you look after yourself. Very important these days. And as always, embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.